they counted me out. Moment of truth, counting it down. Underdog story was down for the count. Back on my feet, back with a mic, back on the beat, back with a family that bang in the streets. The game on lock, I stand with a key. Standing my ground, I am planning to flee. Standing my ground, I am planting my feet. Taking a stand, embracing my destiny, shaking his hand, flipping the script.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the original Sunday Night CrossFit Talk. My name's Scott Switzer. We got Jamie Latimer. We got Carolyne Prevost. We're here every Sunday night where we break it all down, everything that's happened in the week, and we start to preview what's happening in the next week. And that's going to be a lot of what is tonight is a preview of next week, but we will hit what happened last week before we dive into all of that. If you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe. Doesn't cost you a thing. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. It really helps us out in the algorithm. And hey, if you want to support us to do all the big things, you can also become a member of the channel for as low as $2.99 a month. So you can do that. What is going on, Kenneth, Clinnies, Meredith, Craig, Ken, Edging, Fergie, everybody. So awesome to be here. I think that's everything on the welcome. I had my 28th wedding anniversary yesterday.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Never in my wildest dreams, I think I would get to 28 years, with one person. It's just wild. And we went and had a nice lunch at a place called Liberty Tavern here. It's a new like upscale pub type thing. Really, really nice. Lots of outdoor seating, and it was a beautiful day yesterday. And Julie has been kind of cooped up with the knee surgery, so she just wanted to be outside. So we did that, and then today we kind of finished off everything. We went to the dog park with Walter and kind of sat outside. And our dog park is right by the lake, so you get kind of the water and the sunshine and all of that stuff. And it was really, really nice. But 28 years married, and we dated for 4.5 years before we got married.
Wow.
So we've been together way longer than half of my life.
That's awesome. It's something to be celebrated these days.
For sure.
I know that a lot of people were drawn to the Grid League match this weekend because of John Young, but Carolyne and I have a mutual friend who also competed in the Grid League this weekend.
Lauren.
And that was Lauren Olson, who is on John's team. Did you guys catch any of the match?
I did not.
I caught probably half of the matches, and then I didn't watch the end of it, and I never got back to rewatching it. I watched it from the Spin cast.
Okay.
Was it?
I was wondering where it was.
I know they also had another part, but
yeah, it's on the United Grid League YouTube page too. It's a wild broadcast. It is very much in the style of like John Young's broadcasting as opposed to like a Sean Woodland type broadcasting. But I was really impressed with our friend Lauren. She looked so strong. Like the other athletes were not doing as well with the strength pieces that she was. I just felt so much pride and joy for our friend. And I texted her afterwards to tell her like how awesome she was. And she said, she's so glad she said yes. Cause she had so much fun doing it.
yeah, when she was doing the thrusters, she was fast. I like their graphics were good. Like it was very clear on like what it was. Like your athletes have to stand in these hash marks for your reps to count. If they're not there, you get a penalty. It happens very fast though. Like some of the matches are so short. Like if you go and go to your kitchen and grab something to drink, you come back and like there's a match that's done. You're like, oh.
Yeah, they have these things called like ringer points that take literally like 30 seconds. It seems like. I'm sure it's more than that. It's probably like a minute or 2 minutes or something, but it just goes like so fast.
Did she get the only win for the team?
I don't know if she ever went solo.
Oh, okay.
but she never like faulted on anything.
That's awesome.
And from her stories, it looked like she had a lot of fun because I think it's her first time in doing grid.
It is.
So it looked like, whether the team didn't perform as well as they wanted, they at least, made a good weekend out of it.
Well, and the other thing you have to realize is that team is like all rookies that she's on and John's on. And they went up against like this super team of two teams that folded and formed one team. And that they won the championship last year. So they were going up against the best in the league. I am no grid expert by any means. I just listened to the commentary. But I thought they held their own against them. There were times they were leading in events and they would just get like out touched at the end and the commentators were saying like the Houston team, which is Lauren and John's team, just their transitions weren't as fast as the other team because they just haven't done that style before, right? So yeah, I think they're going to be fine in this league going forward, but this was their first match ever as a team. Houston is an expansion team, essentially.
I mean, none of these people really even get to practice together, right? They're all over. So yeah, it's going to be hard to do some of those transitions if you just meeting up with people for the first time.
Yeah, there's a workout where you can never put the barbell on the ground.
Okay.
You have to the women have to front rack and the men have to back rack. And so you have to
carry it to the next station.
Oh,
yeah, there's that too. But
there
you have
are
to
elements
off.
There are elements that like you could technically add in our like team division stuff. But some of like the standards are different than what we have in our sport. So I'm not even sure what is their standard and whatnot. So sometimes like as a CrossFit athlete looking, you're like, ooh, but like, again, they have different rules. So like by their rules, it counts.
Yeah.
We just have different styles of doing it.
That's the hardest part of watching.
Yeah.
To be honest, it just is. It's just a different standard. It's not what I'm used to seeing. It looks rough at times, but if it's their standard and what they count. So, but yeah, it was fun for like, we had nothing going on this weekend from a CrossFit standpoint. So like, it was fun to tune in for a weekend and see my friends competing. I know Kelsey Keel was participating for the first time ever this weekend too. I didn't get to her match. It was one of the later, because they run them back to back in the same arena.
Okay.
So and they're only like an hour to an hour and 15 minutes long each.
I think an hour 15.
So it's just like you do one, set up for the next one, the next one, the next one. And they run 4 matches back to back.
Is Kelsey on the Sharks too? Or different?
I think she's Sharks.
Sharks, yeah.
Okay.
I think, is Dana on that one, Paran, as well?
I didn't get to those matches at all. I just saw Kelsey's story.
Yeah.
She had a really good time. So
I'll have to go back and watch some of them.
Did I see that you already got Murph in?
We did Murph as a gym yesterday. Yep. 3 heats. And then we do a barbecue at the gym after in the afternoon. So yeah, it was a really good day. It was only like 50, maybe 55 degrees here. Man, we haven't had it's been hot for Murph the last few years.
Yeah.
Like
this is a colder end of May for like my region. Like there was something that said like it's the coldest end of May since like 1967 or something like that.
Yeah. I don't remember a Murph being this cool. I remember there's been some rainy days. But yeah, it was definitely cooler, which made like the run nice. Like you weren't dying out there. So yeah, I did it. Last year I did the games version, the 2016
the 5-rounder.
The 5-rounder. Last year I did it that way. And this year I just wanted to see if I was fitter than I have. I feel fitter than I have in the past. So I was like, well, let's see if I can PR. So did it straight through.
You did it
unpartitioned, vested. Yep.
unpartitioned.
Yep.
Wow.
Straight through. PR'd.
How long did that take you?
44:07:06. I was happy with it. Runs were like 7:45, 7:50, and then like 8:10, 8:12.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I have an 800-meter loop, so I'm going to walk half of it, like little jog, half walk, and then I'm going to bike the other half.
Okay.
And then do it through.
Will you do like Cindy style, or you do it unpartitioned?
Oh, Cindy style for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Doing that many push-ups in a row, like once I fail push-ups, they're gone. So like if I did them any other way, I'd be done early.
Lucas did the micro rounds, the 33 rounds of 3, 6, 9, and then 1 round of 1, 2, 3 at the end. He has never completed Murph. He's always done had to if you I think last year tried the 20 rounds and only got through 15 rounds. I was like, just stop, go run. He was already at 80 minutes or whatever. I'm like, just stop there. So he did the whole darn thing this year and crushed it. It was 62 minutes.
Nice.
I'm so proud of him.
When was the last time you did it, Scott?
I did it last year, but I did a scaled version, half maybe.
Because I hadn't done it in a few years, and I did it last weekend because that's when we do it, in Canada. Yeah, I hadn't done it in maybe 2 or 3 years because most of the time I competed semis that weekend.
Yeah.
So
it was last year. It'd been 5 years for me.
Yeah. Or it was the weekend before, and I was like, no, I have to, you're practicing the WODs that have come out and stuff. Right. So it's it hasn't worked out the last few years for me to do it there. So normally I either do it in the summer at another time, but yeah.
Did you do it straight through?
No, I did 10 rounds.
Okay.
10 rounds of
10, 20, 30?
10, 20, 30. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't done that version before. But I did feet elevated ring row.
Okay. Yep.
Because I didn't do any hanging. This week was the first week I did any hanging. I started Friday was the first day I did any hanging in over basically 3 weeks. And my shoulders are so sore. And I don't really have too much shoulder problems, but just not kipping and opening up. And I'm like, oh, I've just have felt crunchy all weekend in the shoulders. But yeah, it's
so that leads to this comment. Meredith says, is there any update on Carolyn's fingernail biopsy? I too have sensitive skin on my hands. It reacts a lot to a lot of things I touch. I'm curious if they gave her a diagnosis.
They emailed me a bunch of thingies from the biopsy, but I meet with the doctor June 2nd. So following Monday.
Yeah.
He's a busy man, but he's he's a nail specialist. So hopefully he'll begin to treat me to try to get rid of this. But yeah, it does get pretty sensitive on certain materials rope climbs and barbell. If I've touched for a while, I need to put grips on, or it just it's burning. So
Kenneth says, I like the 10-round version. I tried the 10-round version early on in my CrossFit career, and I just bogged down in the push-ups. I'm good at push-ups, I do good push-ups, but I just hit a point where then they just bog down and I'm doing singles. And so it's really trying to find a groove of those that I can continue through. And so the Cindy just works better.
Do you do ring rows?
I will this year for sure. Yeah. I've done them.
I like the ring rows
in the past.
When I did my version, I was like, ooh, the ring rows are tough because I put the feet elevated just to challenge myself more, but just making it more strict that was different because my pull-ups are really good. So normally I can just fly through that. And for me, it's just a push-up and how fast do I run?
Right.
So those push-ups are tough, but the pull-ups I'm normally pretty good when I kip. I've never done unpartitioned, so one of these days I will. Lex did it unpartitioned this weekend, I think. So maybe next year I'll do it.
Ken does 10 rounds if he's without a vest. He does 20 rounds if he does a vest. Meredith says, I set up a tent this weekend to camp over Memorial Day. My hands were not happy. Yeah. I learned early on in my marriage, my 28 wonderful years of marriage, that camping would not be in my future much. We tried that once and then twice, and both times my wife ended up leaving and going home. Yeah.
Like actual tent camping.
Correct.
Yeah. Not my favorite either. We have a travel trailer. I can handle that.
Yeah, I don't even think she could handle that.
Well, I like it. It's all the comforts of home.
Yeah, I don't know. It's this isn't on our rundown, but my daughter called last night, and she's actually doing 75 hard right now. So in that you have to do one outdoor activity as exercise. She did a 3-hour hike yesterday.
Wow.
In the mountains for the first time since she's been out in Montana, and just absolutely loved it.
That's awesome.
So it's fun to she is the happiest she has been since high school. This
That's
move
so
has
awesome.
been awesome for her. Justin Cutler in the house. I like camping in front of the fire at the Ritz-Carlton.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our style now too. All right, so now Justin Cutler's in the chat. I guess we're going to dive into the Alex Gazan situation of the week.
You want to touch on this comment from Emma?
I saw it. I took note of it.
Okay.
Yeah. She wants to have Haley, Mario, and Josh on. I'd love to have them on. They're great people. I'll reach out and if they're willing to come on.
Right. I do agree with her. If there's going to be a platform, they do speak up on that. I think this would be a really good place for them to do that.
Yeah. I'm betting they will not talk about it.
I would bet not either. But
in all of my dealings with them, they're very professional.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they're going to talk about it.
Do they help Coach Brooke at all?
And this is what we're talking about, just so you guys know.
Yeah.
Emma is asking if I would have Haley and Josh Murillo on again. And the reason is I feel like if they were ever to share what happened between them and Haley, this would be the podcast where they would do it. Maybe they would, but I don't know. I don't know if they ever would. I just don't think that's them.
And I feel like even if it if something did happen, like they're moving on from that situation and are 1 year removed from it and have moved on. So I'm not even sure that they would even want to touch that surface again and bring that back to social media.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked to Haley about it in private and she won't even give details. Right. So I don't think public forum gets us any further. So, yeah. All right. So this week we had admitted Gummy Gate taken at the WFP, where Alex Gazan was on Talking Elite Fitness, said in a comment that she had taken a gummy to help her sleep and that it does or could include THC up to 2 milligrams or something of that nature. She then went to Will after the competition was completed and said, hey, I did this. And Will said, it's okay. We've taken that out. You don't need to worry about that. That has created a crazy stir of events all week. I have made comments on my lunch with the Clydesdale, but I wanted to get your two opinion on this, if you care to share.
I just don't. I mean, yeah, it seems like it's been handled through the WFP, but if it's a banned substance in CrossFit, it's, I mean, I feel like she's opened up a can of worms here. And they've sort
Well,
of,
it's only a banned substance in competition in CrossFit.
Yeah, out of competition, it's allowed. In competition, it's not allowed.
I see. And then WFP removed the in competition.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh,
Yeah, it's just that part, which a lot of other professional sports teams have been slowly starting to remove because it's been an issue, I think, in the professional sports.
mhm.
I think it's good that they at least, as soon as it happened, like will put out a statement. Now, I don't know how much of that was actually communicated to the athletes in March. Like, I don't know. I think was it March or
Yeah, I think
So
it was.
like I don't
the
like
press
that
release
part because it
said
seems like
that they removed it in March, and there apparently a lot of people have done research. There was no communication with the athletes at all until Alex asked after this competition.
but like I think that should be if that did happen, that they removed it in March, and that's an if because I don't believe that it happened in March, but I'll say if. I think that it should be communicated so all the athletes know that that's removed and not
Agree.
after this happens. Because if other athletes are in a similar situation or they're used to doing that on the regular, because that's how like what they do, it's a disadvantage to all the other athletes that didn't know about that change of rule because that's not a rule in CrossFit.
Right.
So yeah, I mean,
So my thought is this, and I've echoed this. Maybe I can do it more concisely here. I believe that in my mind, in my dealings with the people involved, Will, Saxon, Alex, all of them deserve the benefit of the doubt from me. None of them have lied to me. None of them have treated me disrespectfully. Everything has been on the up and up. So in my mind, they deserve the benefit of the doubt. I believe this is what happened. I believe that the WFP met with Drug Free Sport or WADA or whoever is doing the testing in March. And they went down through the list. Are we testing for this, 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 this? And Will probably said no to THC when they were having their meeting with Drug Free Sport. Then from that point forward, he did not update the paper. Right. And that's a life I live every day. In government, a law changes and it's on the books as this is the law that's changed. The documentation that's out there to the public takes forever to get updated. One, because you forget or you can't find it or whatever, or it has to go through communications and legal and whatever to make sure it's worded correctly or any of that kind of stuff. I believe that's what happened. And in my mind, they have the benefit of the doubt. They have not done anything to me. And so that is why I am saying that everybody that's saying she had an unfair advantage, she was taking it, thinking that it was banned, right? Until after the competition was over.
because she got drug tested there and then was like, oh, I took this probably.
Yeah. Because she didn't mention it to Will till after.
See, I think that's an athlete's responsibility, though. I mean, I grew up in a testing sport of hockey where I've been tested with Taekwondo and hockey since I was about 15 years old. So, like, I'm very aware of everything I've ever consumed. Anything on the shelves, I was like always told, none of that can be in your system. Like, you have to know, even if like there's some THC that like I've always known as an athlete that you can't take that, and like I've stayed away from any of that stuff like my whole life. But there's like a responsibility as an athlete to know that. I mean, it's good that she went forward and told Will, and then they had, remove that and whatnot. But I still think that it was a careless moment from Alex because she could have been suspended if there was enough in the system. I don't know what the actual amount that you need in your P, but I think it was a lack of judgment on her part during the weekend. And she's lucky, honestly, that it could have been a suspension.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, do I think that it should be on the list? No, because like I don't think it's a performance enhancing substance. But by the rules, I think she should have been smarter about that.
Justin says, I was there. I heard what Will said. She mentioned it. He immediately responded, oh, I took that out. We don't test for that. And that's why I believe that, like, he probably met with the testers and said, hey, don't test for that anymore, but did not update any of the documents. And while I think that it is his responsibility to update those documents, I live in a world where that happens all the time.
Yeah.
And so I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying it is a common blunder with rule changes to get all of the front-facing documents changed. Agree with Carolyne 100%. This from Justin. Mistake taking it, mistake bringing it up in a podcast.
Like it could have really ruined her whole season. And she's one of our top athletes in the sport, right? Like she's really lucky that WFP took that out of that weekend because they could have. She didn't know until she talked to Will after the competition, like after she had already consumed it. So like, but again, I don't think that it should be necessarily banned, but per the rules. Yeah, definitely a mistake on that part. And then a lack of communication on Will to the athletes as well. But now everything is out in terms of like everyone knows that that's allowed on the WFP side. It is not allowed still on the CrossFit side. So if you're going to a CrossFit sanctioned event, you need to be aware of what goes in your body on, out of competition and certainly in competition as well, with the risks of being tested. But I do like that she was forward facing in terms of, responding to things. And then once everything kind of settled and she knew that she was in the clear, I think then could make a joke about it with her video, which was hilarious.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
But you don't make that video until you're kind of more at ease with the situation and have a response from the WFP saying everything is good.
Yeah.
Because before then, I think she was also like backtracking and nervous and concerned for sure, as probably Justin was as well. And I'm sure they've had a long chat since that podcast.
We don't know if it would have even come up as a positive, as it was a microdose of THC, but without question, can't do it.
Yeah.
My only issue with all of this is like every time something comes out from the WFP, it's like everybody's just bam down their throat. Bam, let's find out what's wrong with this. Bam, 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 right? And this is just another one where like nobody's given the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've known Saxon Panchik since for almost 10 years. And I don't know if there's a more trustworthy guy that I have met in this space than him. And this was their first ever event. Like that's a lot of stuff that goes into that and a lot of ducks to have in a row. And it just was tough. So
I just remember like growing up, like we had, like we had a lot of meetings on like supplement stuff, like when I was very young, and like it was like ingrained in our like teams, like you're not, if you're at a convention center, you're not, testing anything that they're sampling. And like, it's like, we were like drilled like with meetings on like supplement stuff. And I feel like I've seen a lot of careless stuff in our sport and people just share each other's pre-workouts and whatnot without any concern of what other people have in their drinks. Like it's, maybe I come from like a different sport that like we were tested much more. And I've only been tested out of competition once in my whole CrossFit career, which is crazy to me.
Wasn't that just like a few months ago?
Recently. Yeah. Like I've gone tested like at a competition after podium or something like that. But in terms of like out of competition, once. And it's like, I just feel like a lot of people are extremely careless in how and what they take. And like they don't look for supplements that have, you know, the informed sport or NSF. They take whatever, they share each other's drinks. Like it's just crazy. Like there's samples of things and they don't even go and look whether that company has any third-party testing and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if there needs to be more education in our sport if people come from different like, I don't know. I mean, to me, if they test positive, like, see ya. But I just think people are not very smart with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've actually been with Saxon at events where someone said, hey, try this protein bar, and he'll just throw it in the garbage. Like, even if it's something that it says it's like, okay, he's like, I don't know what they've done to it. I don't know if it's been manipulated or anything like that. And so, yeah, people you have to be that diligent as an athlete if you want to make sure that you do not test positive.
Especially at like a professional level when you know that there's testing.
All right. An athlete's agents, managers keep talking about wanting CrossFit to be a professional sport. That goes with the territory from media. Okay. I don't disagree.
I wonder like if CrossFit would put a message and be like, because I would have wanted CrossFit to be like, well, we see that like this rule is, you know, the WFP, we still are going to be testing for this in the CrossFit space because we believe blah, 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 blah. Like I would also like I get that they don't care about the WFP, but I feel like CrossFit should also make a statement like in our sport, make sure to look up, you know, the rules and regulations and what is prohibited and not, and that you're up to date on new substances that are added to the list, including in competition THC.
And I don't want it lost what you said, Carolyne, and that is that the WFP put out a press release about this. That never happens in CrossFit.
And I thought that was great.
Right.
Like that they went forward right away with like addressing the big issue that was that situation.
I have said this over and over again. The amount of communication I get from the WFP compared to what I get from CrossFit is a 180. Like they send out press releases all the time to an email list of media members. And so I don't have to go searching on 6 different Instagram accounts as to where it might be released or a YouTube video. I get an actual press release from them. So, margaritas at Jamie's, is that what I'm hearing?
Aaron just got me more water. Yes, he did put kind of a lot of ice in it. I had plenty of margaritas yesterday. I'm struggling a bit.
Welcome to the hangover, Jamie.
Yeah.
Is that what happens at a barbecue after Murph?
Yes.
At your gym?
Yep.
Gotcha. I have not had an alcoholic beverage in so long. I don't even know what they taste like anymore.
I just don't like the taste. Like I don't like the taste of beer and I don't like wine. So the only thing I can drink is like vodka mixed drink. And like I don't crave vodka.
Yeah.
So it's like very easy for me not to drink. Like I used to have some drinks like with my hockey team, like when I would play different weekends and stuff, but now I'm like, I don't really care for it.
Yeah,
It's been a while since I've had a drink.
Before this podcast, I had a craft beer podcast. I love the taste of beer. Although everybody's told me since I've quit drinking for like now it's going on 18 months or so, like I will not like the taste of beer when I go back because it is an acquired taste. And if you've been without it for a long time, all of a sudden, like that's what I'm being told.
Yeah.
If I ever try it again, I won't like the taste again. Ken Walter says hockey teams don't have only some drinks.
Yeah. I mean, I did go to a good school in Wisconsin that it was good times.
Edging says can lead to an allergy where you wake up in handcuffs. A friend told me so.
Oh boy.
Oh, wow. All right. So through that, Labatt's or Molson's. I actually like Canadian beer is actually really good.
Yeah, your American beers were awful.
Yeah.
When I went to the States and like our hockey team had like beers, which I would rarely ever drink, but no, they're like watered down.
Well, we have all kinds of beer. I mean, but yes, like your Bud Lights. Yeah, it's like water.
Yeah, I can't handle the American domestic beers. And that's just what's bad because the other ones are much more highly caloric than that, and it's just bad.
Ken says that Madison's Halloween is the best college party ever. No, the Mifflin Block Party is the craziest one. That happens like in the springtime. It's like this one street where everyone is just on the street drinking and people off their balconies are throwing alcohol to people. It's crazy.
All right. We could go down a long talk of beer and parties.
Yeah.
Let's go on to, we had the first Road to the Games released. Did you guys get a chance to see that?
I have not seen it.
I did.
Oh my gosh, Jamie, you were so drunk.
I know. This week was just busy for me. This is Lucas's last week of school. I don't know. It was just a busy week.
So it featured Colton Mertens and Austin Hatfield. I thought if I'm going to review this, and if I'm reviewing, it's my opinion. I'm going to put that out there first. I thought it was better than what they've been doing, but left me wanting a little bit more. So I would put it at the B+ A- area.
Okay.
And to be fair, I'm a CrossFit nerd, so I know a lot about Colton. I know a lot about Austin going into this, so I wanted to know more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I thought the same. I mean, I thought it was good. I mean, I like CrossFit content, but like I think Hiller has done, better videos on athletes and their stories, and a little bit longer too. Like theirs is what, like 20-ish something minutes, 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's just over 20.
Yeah, and I don't think that they need to be like too long because I think that in that 20 to 30 minute range. But yeah, like maybe a little bit more of their lives and stuff. Like, I mean, I guess we saw a lot of Chick-fil-A for Austin and a little bit of Colton's work on the farm, but not too much.
So what I'm going to compare everything to this season is the Laura Horvat WFP video.
I did really like that one.
And the Hopper Hiller video. Mm-hmm. I thought those are the two best pieces of content we've had this year. So I would put it below those for sure.
Okay.
But I would put it above like the Adler WFP video. I thought it had a little more substance than that one. The best parts were like Allie and Colton digging post holes and their interaction through that. I wanted more of that. To me, that was more about like his day-to-day life. I'm done with the work. I don't need to see them train.
Right.
And there's a lot of like watching them train. And I get it. It's a fitness thing. And so to me, that's that. And again, these are like Julian Eiferd's in here saying Alexis Raptis was better than Hopper. They were two different styles.
I also think it depends on the personality of the athlete, like how much they're willing to talk and really express themselves. Like there's just athletes that are just more like talkative. Like Colton's a lot more chirpy type of athlete, but in terms of as deep into a conversation, I don't know that he really goes super deep into this private life and like day-to-day stuff. Like I think it just depends on where the conversations go with people.
Yeah.
Like Hopper is someone that's just more open, which is why I think I like the Laura one, because we haven't seen her be as open. So seeing an athlete that you don't see that side, you know, and go a little bit deeper into their background as a child, I think that is more interesting.
So Ken says Hiller's Haley and Domit's were good. They were good. Hopper's was another level to me because he dug into that Vermont piece and how that affected Hopper and how he almost quit CrossFit altogether. Like that's what made that one better storytelling to me. The Raptus one in the hot tub, like, was fun and it was very different and I really enjoyed it, but it didn't hit the storytelling level of the Hopper and the Horvat one.
Yeah,
And
just didn't go as deep.
The Horvat one where she goes back to her like grade school and all that, like that stuff was really, really fun to watch. And the relationship between her and her brother was really good too. Because you hear all these rumors and, you know, the stupid insinuations and they're just like a really good, close family.
Yeah, well, I mean that's like stupid rumors. Like they're just like brother, sister, and supportive of each other. I think anyone that goes that way has.
But it was nice to see it in that fashion too. That she kind of chased around him when he was an athlete and she was coming up and wanted to be an athlete, and like that was the cool storytelling part. That's all I'm saying. And CrossFit used to be really good at it. And I think we fell too much in love with the workout porn.
Yeah.
But I think both of those athletes have very similar type personalities.
Sure.
Like Austin, and like they're kind of just like quiet workhorse.
Yeah.
Is like maybe if you would have paired two different athletes that have a lot different backgrounds, you would have seen a little bit more contrast in their stuff. I don't know. I think they'll get better as it goes along and you get different personalities.
Huge shout out to Leah Nichols, who just became a member of our channel.
That's my cousin.
Thank you so much for that, Leah. And everybody's bringing up cool memories of Brooke Entz and Marston having the fight at regionals, that had the drama and the tea that everybody wanted. Josh Bridges running up the street shirtless. The Smith brothers working out in the cul-de-sac. That's when CrossFit was really good at storytelling. Those are the memorable ones. Those are the ones we all love to tune in to see. And I think they just have to get reps in again. They went away from doing these stories and now they've got to get back in, and it's going to take some reps to get back into that full swing of things.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. We know what the first event of the CrossFit Games is. Excited?
Same old.
Yeah.
It's literally the same old run, swim, run, row, run, or swim, kayak. Like it's the same start. I wish that like it didn't always start with a long endurance events. I think it's the same people that get an advantage, like get confidence to start the week, where it's like put that sometimes. I know I understand that, you know, less people have arrived by the Thursday or Fridays normally, and it's an event you kind of want to get out of the way. But you give the same people an advantage every single competition, same type of leaders, same endurance athletes, and like you just get confidence and you start rolling and you feel better. And in our sport, like confidence is a big thing. Like if you started with a different type of workout, like a more CrossFit-y workout, like I bet you like sometimes the whole weekend changes. You get a leader's jersey, you get something, you know, you get a top 5, top 10, all of a sudden your first event, you're like, heck yeah, let's go. Like now, you know, you're all pumped. You start the weekend with a 30th place, 25th place, and it's a hole to dig out of. You're in your own head after that. Like I would just like for it to start differently than just a long endurance every single time. I think it's needed. I'm not saying it's not needed. It is needed. I think there's different ways that they could do it, like multiple rounds for time or different than just like a long like that. I think would be better to watch because this one has been done. But I would just like to see it start differently than the same people that get leaders jersey. I mean, on the women's side, we only really see one person on put the leader's jersey, but
Yeah.
Imagine Vellner not starting in a hole.
It makes a big difference.
It could be half the distance and still the same people would win. Best runners are going to dominate.
Yeah, I mean, it's a running workout. Like you're not making up that much time on the row unless like you've cramped or something, then you will on the run.
You mean Ionikowski? Well, CrossFit Ionikowski is not qualified yet. He's been one place out like in 6 different spots, but maybe he'll get in.
If Tia goes.
I think she does.
I do too, but
she has not said anywhere that she's retiring. She's going.
My biggest problem with this event is the announcement that it's the community event. This is an hour plus event. And this is what you want the community to come jump into and participate with? That's a lot.
I also don't think it's a good look because it's a specialist workout. Like you could have literally some High Rocks people come here and smoke the scores of the CrossFit Games athletes. 100% will smoke like some of the like elite 15s and stuff. Well, if you grab a more CrossFit-y workout for the special, like for the community to do, I think it would entice more people like in the community and then can actually compare to the elites.
Julian Eifert says hour for who, Scott? Well, not me, because I mean I'm talking a good 90-minute plus in my heyday. But like Jamie could probably do this in an hour or less. And like she jumped in on the 5K when it was a community event a couple years ago. But again, now we've had 2 community events. Mm-hmm. It's only been done twice, and it's been a 5K and a 6-mile run with a 3,000 meter row. Where's the fun stuff to get people like into CrossFit?
Right.
This is nothing that's going to like entice somebody to go to a CrossFit gym. I can do this in my backyard.
It's their opening High Rocks event, basically.
Right. That's what it feels like. Is Mirror Gym is qualified? She
yeah.
ended up, yeah. I'm very curious how she does at this.
Was she an Elite 15 individual?
I don't know. I mean, I really only know like the Jacobson girl or whatever, Lauren Weeks. Yeah. I can't think of anyone out of the top 5 really in my mind. So I it isn't ringing a bell to me.
Because I think her run, I don't know if her run is her strongest point of the High Rocks.
Right.
Ken Walter says like bench press and deadlifts. Well, you say that, but like deadlifts is an easy move to teach.
Yeah.
You could put deadlifts with a couple other movements, maybe some sandbag cleans, something like that, something easy that's not like a bunch of barbells out on the floor, and run a couple heats of that, get people involved. Stop with the 5K runs. I mean, this does not excite me as a community member to take part in. I don't know.
And like, as you're trying to sell tickets right now too, right? Like just a more.
Are they trying?
Fire sale.
Is the sale still on?
I think it's ended. Yes.
It ended.
Yeah.
They're still 20% off from all the athletes.
And they get a kickback, which is nice.
They do. They get $50 every time someone buys tickets with their code.
That's pretty good. Do we think that the tickets are just going for too much?
I think they were very expensive.
Like they're so expensive now, and I get like when the demand was there, but I don't know. I feel like it's theirs.
I also think putting it on either coast takes away half of your population to come to the games. You only have diehard people flying from California or from overseas. if you have it in Wisconsin, it's in the middle of the country. People will then come halfway for some reason.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like as much of a trip.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit of everything. Plus, this is the biggest arena they've ever had by a lot. Like it's,
Oh, is that why?
it,
'Cause
like
I always felt like it was sold out right
only,
away.
Madison was only like 4,000 or 5,000. This is a 12,000 seat arena.
No, Madison was more than 4 to 5 at that
Oh, come on.
area.
In the Coliseum?
Come on.
Yeah, I think it was 5.
I thought it was more than 5.
No way.
Really?
That whole one side didn't have any seats. It was all blocked off where you went out for the runs.
Just the 1 year.
Well, they put like a VIP area or
Yeah. I think Madison was so great because you could get it was like under $200 for the festival ticket, right? And still get to see at least, you got it just.
And back then, the Masters, you could walk around and
Yeah.
go through the age group and their little like facility, or if they were on North Park, all the other ones were in the Coliseum. Like there was stuff to do there. Yeah. Hard to fly into. Like you have to go to Milwaukee or Chicago. Like Dane Airport is pretty small. Dane County Airport. Hotels maybe were not as many. You have to go about 20 minutes away for some of them. But the venue is great. The city is great.
Who you all right there, Scott?
Yeah, Scott, you dying?
it is cottonwood season. It's been so bad these last couple of days. I hated that arena in Madison. I thought the seats were so uncomfortable. I thought I liked it as an overall venue. Like I liked it for the outdoor park. I liked it because everything was kind of consolidated together, but enough spread out where you could get to everything. The arena itself meant nothing to me. Like when we were at Fort Worth last year, the seats were super comfortable. It was a beautiful arena. It was brand new. But of course it's going to have bad memories and all of that stuff. So anyway.
I mean, in Madison, like that area isn't even used during the year, like at all. It's a parking lot. Like nobody goes there. And there's like some random concerts now. Like it used to be one of the hockey rinks like long time ago before the Kohl Center. And like it's these random little concerts that are there. So like for what they turn that space when the games would go there, like it, because I live there, so it was really cool to see how it transformed. And then once they were gone, like it was empty.
Fluffy Fit says the lack of international travel to the U.S. also has an impact, and I'm sure it does. There's 10 less individuals, 10 less teams. Fans of these athletes would be missing.
Do you think we're missing the Masters and the teens and stuff? Like for like people that are bringing their families and stuff like that? See, I knew it was more than 5,000.
There's no way they put 10,000 people in there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like 10 to 11,000.
I mean, it may have that capacity. I don't know. Didn't feel like that to me. Like Texas just seems so big last year compared to it.
And what's Albany? 15?
I just heard Dave say in that when they did the open announcement with Hopper and Pepper and Tyson Bagent and Sprague, that it was the biggest arena they'd had so far. Fluffy Fit said Madison looked empty the last year. It was not empty. It was only empty in non-final heats of individuals.
Yeah.
To get spots, definitely from North Park was always packed. And then, the Coliseum was pretty packed once it was the final heat. Teams were empty.
individuals would end and it would empty out, and then the teams would come on the floor to nobody in the crowd except for Jamie.
True.
So, yeah. And I'm really not disputing you, Jenny, on this. I think your numbers are probably correct. It just didn't have that feel to me. That's all.
Ooh, Albany holds 17-5. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, they should have downsized. I agree.
Well, then that makes sense why like it's hard to sell for that much.
Yeah.
Because if it was the same size and we're not selling out or like
You're
significantly lower.
1.75 times bigger.
Yeah.
No wonder you're not selling out.
Right.
Now all the prime locations are so, like, if you look at the finish line, they're all sold. It's really just around the arena. So, all right, let's do some CrossFit fact or fiction. Every morning before I get into my CrossFit stuff, I watch Get Up on ESPN.
Okay.
And they play a game called Fact or Fiction. And I give you a statement and you tell me if it's a fact or if it's fiction and why. Are we ready to play?
Yep.
Yep.
Fact or fiction? CrossFit doesn't care about the teams division.
I'm gonna say fact, but I would almost say fiction just out of the fact that they're still there. With the individuals, like everyone else has gotten cut and moved, and like the teams are still there with the individuals. They get the venue, they get the stuff. So, but yeah, they're yeah.
Fiction from my experience on the demo team. Like I feel like we tested more of the team workouts than we did the individuals, but that makes sense because everything would have been more tested maybe prior with the individuals, and then more of the bigger apparatus stuff on the turf needed to be testing there. I still think they cared about the teams because they're tweaking a lot of stuff. Did Dave care about the teams? No, because like we were like middle of a wad and he just left. We were not fast enough on one of the wads and he just like he left.
Jenny actually made a point in her update the other day where at TFX, the teams were actually more popular than the individual athletes. And I think it goes back to that regional approach to teams where you're bringing not just the family members of the team, but the gym members of the team, because they're coming to support the whole thing. And I think that's a part of the equation that we've lost in all of this shuffle is at the qualifying events, teams are super important, and we've eliminated them because they're only online to get to the games. And so we've lost that draw along the way. And I think that is something that is missing from the equation.
Totally agree. Which makes you feel like CrossFit has just pushed them to the back. You feel like they don't care about them.
I mean, the online semifinals, shit show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Complete shit show. Like no care there to even look at a single video.
Correct.
But then they didn't really look at many for the individuals either because it was just the ones that had a lot of downvotes.
Mm-hmm.
Any other one they didn't look at. So
I think that in a cost-cutting thought process, you forget what this entity over here brought to your package.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need people, like teams bring a bunch of people to any competition. And removing even the masters, like it's good for them to have their own competition. Don't get me wrong, but they do bring a lot of people and a lot of spending. Like, could they fill 17,500 just individuals? No, like you need the team. So I feel like they're still using the teams for that.
Mm-hmm.
But we know who the 20 teams are. And apparently they're not buying enough tickets. because they 40% off. And I think Ken set up here, and I don't know if you're just saying here if it's true, but he said, like, if you bought tickets before the sale, they're giving you 2 free tickets for friends. If it's a joke, it's funny. If it's real, it's sad.
Well, yeah, you feel kind of got if something comes out like this and you were the one that bought early. So I can see them. I'm sure people were complaining and wanted something.
All right. Fact or fiction? CrossFit has become completely hands-off with the sports season up until the games.
Fact.
Yeah, fact. You saw that with the online video review. And yeah, they're outsourcing everything. Outsourcing the programming. Outsourcing the events.
No looking over any of the events. No looking over videos. No, it's just once the athletes are there, they'll program the open and they'll program their stuff. But right now, like most of the season to get there,
they've outsourced the video review to the public. Yeah. They didn't even do the video review for the teams. They have outsourced all the in-person qualifying events. They're letting them make their own rules,
which I think is dumb.
Yeah. All right. Final one, fact or fiction. Mayhem Athlete programs every CrossFit event.
Fact. And if they're not programming, they have athletes testing them, so they know the workouts. They know the workouts to every single event. It's such bullshit.
Well, they didn't program Torian, correct?
I'm sure they had someone test it. Torian is greatly programmed. I really like their programming.
I do really like their programming.
It's great.
But yeah,
I think that one's my favorite programming out of any of the comps so far.
I love that they're not doing heavy Isabel.
Me too. Thank God. I'm jealous of their programming.
How do you really feel, Carolyne?
I really like the Torian one.
Yeah. Ken gets question 3 hit the sore spot.
Yeah.
Well, I just think that it's such a it's so a disadvantage for other athletes. I don't think a training camp should be programming for sending people to the games. I don't care if they don't tell their athletes or whatnot. It's the fact that you still train these athletes. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. Just like when you have a Wells sister on the demo team and the other one's competing, it doesn't look good.
Agree.
You can't have people testing your workouts. Don't tell people. James Sprague on the demo team, other people, tutor, whatever. You can't have buddies of people testing workouts. It's hard to find. I get that. But the appearance of them programming everything, it's not a good look.
Yeah.
Benita says appearance of conflict of interest.
Absolutely. And I'm not saying that they're telling. I'm just saying it doesn't look good. In a sport of unknown, you can't have that.
If they're going to do it, they need to have like a clear delineation between the person that programs and the rest of the entity. And I don't know how you can do that when you own the company.
Right.
And
I just think you need to find someone that's going to program the season, take care of the semifinals, and that's their responsibility for the year. And if you're not able to do it, pick someone else, but they can't be related to a training camp and stuff like that.
It's not an appearance. It is a conflict of interest.
That major.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. And we'll still show up and compete and everyone does their best and their athletes may not qualify, but it's still doesn't look good. To me, it's not professional at all.
All right. We're going to keep that game. I'll have to come up with new categories every week, I like that game.
Yeah.
I have to come up with a couple that aren't facts though. I need to come up with some things that are fiction.
I gave you 2 fictions there.
Clooney says WFP nailed this. Will did all the programming, and Will and Saxon did all the testing.
Yeah.
Keep it small. Nobody knows.
Like that's the thing is you need to have someone that's either like knows the time domains, knows the stimulus, doesn't need to have a bunch of testers.
Right.
And if you're not that person, then you need to do your homework and study a lot more CrossFit.
Yeah.
Because you should be able to program a workout and have a pretty good idea of where the top scores are and where the bottleneck is for your average field of athletes. Like you need to study more competitions and results of different types of workouts so that you're able to program and not need all of these people to test your workouts and
Right.
all of these people coming together. Like a few people, I think, to program, like 2, maybe 3 at most. Once you start going more to that, like around that, it's a bunch of leaks.
Fact or fiction? It's okay that Will didn't have a female test the events.
I don't know. I mean, Carolyn's right. Should be able to like look at time domains. You should be able to know that what 30 wall balls takes. You should be able to but it would be nice if you had a woman.
I don't think you need to, but I think you need to study the sport and know that like the same amount of legless rope climbs, the females are not there.
Right.
It's a different workout for like females. If you want to get the same workout stimulus of what your brain is thinking of putting on paper, then you need to study more the female side. If you've only focused on the male side because that's where you competed your whole life, I think that you have to take a look at a lot of different samples of different events. What is the number of legless rope climbs that females are able to do in this time domain paired with, grip intensive stuff? What is it like paired with a cardio? What is it like paired with a shoulder fatigue? Because all of those like impact how good some of the females are in certain movements where we lag behind like the males.
Yeah.
So I don't think you need to, but I think that you should be studying constantly.
Fluffy Fit says maybe he didn't say who. He has said on Boys Interrupted that it was just him and Saxon. And Jackson did some, but he didn't get really any good data from that. Garrett says fiction. Fiction, not cool, bro.
Right.
All right, cool. Yeah, I like that. We'll have to bring that back as we move forward. All right. Previewing the 4 events coming up this weekend. 4 events this weekend. We have Syndicate Crown, we have Far East Throwdown, we have the Torian Pro, and we have Rebel Renegade games. Let's start with the Syndicate Crown. And here is the men's lineup for the Syndicate Crown.
No Cal.
No Cal.
Yeah, Layman.
CrossFit Instagram should be posting a lot more about these 4 events coming up and really pumping people towards where they can watch it this weekend and whatnot. Like I just went quickly on the CrossFit Games website. Like if the events have tagged them, they'll accept some of the tagging, but they should be all week, especially with 4 events going on, really driving people to those competitions, whether it's online or to the actual venues on where people can purchase tickets. I think there can be a better job there.
So I have seen versions of this with Kale Lehman crossed off.
Yeah, I have too.
I don't know if it's official because I only saw it on like Hiller's site and some other people. I have not seen anything from Syndicate saying that.
That'll be interesting.
Here we have, again, it's a little bit of a depleted field. I'll hit you with the highlights. Ben Smith is going to be there. George Sterner, Jack Rosema, Ty Jenkins, Spencer Panchek, Seth Stovall, Luke Parker. Who are your picks to get the 2 spots from that group of people?
I like Jack Rosema. I think Ty will be competitive, fighting for one of those spots. And George Sterner will be in the mix. Spencer, he's had some good comps, and then he's had some comps where he's struggled a little bit. He wasn't at WFP, was he?
No.
No.
Mayhem.
I'm trying to think who will do good at like
These events.
the run yoke and the hundreds in this.
So
group.
I think this is Stovall's time.
I think Seth is going to have an excellent shot out of this.
He was just out last year, right? Like
Yeah.
he was right outside.
So my pick is Seth, and I'm going to go with Jack Rosema.
I don't think he's a good enough runner. I think that one's going to hurt him, the run yoke, and I actually don't think he's going to do excellent at the hundreds either. But I could be wrong.
Well, pick your names then, ma'am.
I do think Seth is.
He'll be in the mix for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know enough about Ty. Luke would be my other thought process, just being a mayhem athlete, and
It's not very top heavy though. It's wide open. Like there's no shoe in here.
No.
I don't know.
Ortega says Seth and Luke.
Yeah.
Kenneth DeLapp says I'm going with Jenkins and Parker.
I don't know. I don't know enough about Ty. It's like I don't know if he's a good runner. I don't know if he's a good endurance athlete. Like, will he survive that hundreds?
I know he's really strong. I don't know about his running ability.
Right. Like I feel like he could be kind of like Jack. Like they're like I think Jack's gonna crush the heavy Isabel. But I think there's gonna be some others that sort of hurt him.
All right, let's go to the women's side. We have the Wells sisters. We have Caroline Stanley, Elizabeth Wishart, Erica Folo, Haley Rolfe, Kira Miller, Christine Best, Kyra Milligan, Lexi Neely, Lydia Fish, Shelby Neal, any picks on this one?
I like Caroline Stanley. I think she's well-rounded.
Yeah.
She's a good runner. She's strong, good gymnast. Like I think no major holes in her games. I expect her to take a spot from this field. I think Brooke can have another spot here. I think those two are the two front runners for me in this field. And then in the mix, I'll root for my friend Elizabeth Wishart. Folo should do well on some of these. Shelby hasn't had a great start to the year. I don't know if she has an injury, if she's just been busy with school or work or something like that. She didn't look particularly herself at Mayhem because normally I'm a huge Shelby Neal fan.
I'm going to say Rachel Klausing.
Okay.
8th day team member. She's incredible. Her endurance is incredible. I think she'll do really well in the hundreds and the run yoke.
I am going to take Caroline Stanley as the shoe-in. And then my second place, I'm taking Lexi Neely.
Like Kyra will be really good at a lot of these. It's just the one running that she has to survive. And unfortunately, I just don't know that the other ones will have as low of a finish that she may have on that one. But Kyra's got some good skills on some of these workouts that are coming out.
Lexi made the games last year, and I think she's only gotten better. And I really think she has a chance. So that's my pick.
Cool.
All right. So that is the Syndicate crown. So let's go to the next one. which is, I think, the Far East, which they did not, right? They're the ones that didn't.
They're the ones on competition corner.
Yeah, it's on competition.
All right, I
corner.
got to change this then. They're on comp. Yeah, here we go. Far East Throwdown. Well, my big question going into this is, and my question on the last one was, do the Wells sisters qualify? Because it's their last opportunity, pretty much.
This would be the first year that one of them hasn't qualified, if they both, right? I think that Sydney is signed up for NorCal right now. I mean, at this point, anyone that doesn't qualify through here is going to get an invite at NorCal because they're just inviting anyone last minute. So who knows how many of these athletes will join the
I
NorCal?
think they
But
both.
Kenneth is still playing the last game.
Yeah. I think they both have a good shot.
I think Brooke has a better shot. She has less holes than Sydney, but they finished relatively close to each other, I think, in the WFP, right? Right next to each other, maybe. So Sydney is catching up on a lot of her fitness.
All right, so I don't know a lot of these names. I'm going to give you what I know. I know Amy Hosking is, we've had her on the show a couple times for semifinal series. She's from Canada. Duan Young made it to the games last year, correct?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, Janine.
Leah Storin will do well here.
Leah Storin.
Is this the one that doesn't have a run? I don't think this one has a run. Or one of the
Here-
events don't have a run.
Sahir Kaya.
We'll do very well.
Sheng Young Choi is here, but she is already qualified.
I think it's between Kaya and Storin.
Broke it.
There we go.
No running, but a 1 rep max jerk, according to Do.
So here you only get one invite to the games. We
Right.
double check that before the show. I think it's Sahir Kaya. Her and Sheng Young Choi have dominated for a long time in the Far
But
East.
you've invited other people
Yeah.
now. I think Storin is right there with Kaya. They're both Krieger athletes too, I believe. Krieger? How do you say it? Krieger?
Okay. And then on the men's side,
It's a tough time when you have fields like this that don't have the depth. It becomes 1-2, 1-2,
Yeah.
1-2. You have one bad event and you're screwed. We saw that happen with Guy a few
Yep.
years ago in Brazil, right? So if you have a hole when the field isn't deep like this, like you better hope that one person that you're just always going back and forth with has some sort of execution error or something like that. Because these type of comps are hard because like no one's getting in between. So like you're always in the mix. You're one error away from losing it.
Yep.
Yeah, those are stressful type of competitions.
I got to be honest with you. I am not deep on my Far East men.
No one from outside of, is it
I
all?
don't really see anybody from outside. Ricardo Garcia, I'm assuming, is from outside, but I don't.
What about Haynes?
He is here. But what? He's like 39 now?
Yeah.
No. Ilya Mark, is that the one that
Oh,
couldn't
he's the
travel?
weightlifter.
Was that the one that couldn't travel last year, or one of the?
Goodness.
Maybe that guy. I don't know why. Maybe the name just sounds familiar.
Ilya Mark Makarov.
Yeah.
Well, didn't last year they have like 5 people test positive?
That's why I recognize that name. Maybe one of the athletes had the same first name, and maybe that's what I'm getting confused with.
So that depleted the lot a lot as well. But there's Ant Haynes. Andrev Fedotov, I've heard that name before. Yeah, I can't give you an educated
Yeah.
guess on Far East.
Ilya
I'm just
was-
saying.
On
Ilya was.
the men's side, no, but on the women's side, more.
Yeah.
Ilya was the weightlifter that was at NorCal.
Keeping it real. FYI, I was catching up. Ty's best features is running. He did 5K the other day in 18. He can run for days and swims even better. And I know they're tight. So,
I mean,
I
if
do
you're
think I
a
remember
two or
hearing that.
if you're a 2 or 3-time or 2-time teen champ, like he would have been well rounded.
Yeah.
yeah, but he's just like 19, 20 now, right? He's like 2 years out.
Yeah, I think he's 19. I don't know. I guess Grant will tell
All
us.
right. So there's that. We have our picks for the women. I have no idea on the men. Let's look at the last two, which is Torian. Sure. Here we go. Now they did theirs in multiple pages. So he just turned 19. All right. Pro individual females. We have Haley Adams, Hannah Black.
The other Haley Adams.
Yeah. Emily Clemens, Emily DeRoy, Gemma Ellis, Julia Hannaford, Hannah Hardy, Gemma Hauk, Daisy McDonald, Maddie Sturt, who's already qualified, Tia Claire Toomey, Gracie Walton, who's already qualified. And that's the list of women.
Tia.
Yeah, Tia.
Tia, maybe Daisy, maybe Emily DeRoy. She had some team experience last year, won. Could maybe qualify here individually again. Trying to look at the names on my phone.
It's hard because I feel like, is everyone on this list even eligible? Like, I don't even know.
I'll be surprised if Hannah Black does very, very well here. She had a really good competition at TFX. These events for Torian are very high skilled. There are some strength stuff, but there are like strict handstand push-ups, ring muscle-ups, bar muscle-ups, legless rope climbs. Like a lot more gymnastics heavy, I think.
Georgia Pryor's here too. I didn't mention her.
I love her.
So I'd be curious to see, because I was very impressed with Hannah at TFX, but also cautious in my evaluation of her because of the programming that was there. Although I do think that she's closed out on a lot of the holes that she had. I think she's definitely improved her fitness, but in this particular event, I think won't translate maybe as much. Plus she's traveling. But Tia, Emily DeRoy, Daisy McDonald from last year's games could do well. There's a few of them. I think there's going to be like 4 or 5 of them really in the mix.
What I find fascinating about this is if Tia does not accept her bid,
she will.
It could be 4th place before you get, because Maddie Sturt and Gracie Walton could finish 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah.
I'm saying if. I'm not saying I believe it. I'm just saying if. I do believe she's going to take the bid. I'm just saying if she doesn't. So yeah,
Georgia Pryor. Forgot about her.
I'd probably go Georgia Pryor and Daisy McDonald personally.
And Tia. I'm anxious to see what Tia looks like here, if she's just gonna look like her regular self. Because like we didn't see her regular self in the open, right?
Right.
So I'm just curious what she'll be like here.
She wants to put on a show for her home crowd.
Yeah.
Like, no doubt. We've talked about this a lot, Ken. Don't you think that if someone already qualified, it should be a blanket rule you can't compete like Syndicate did? Those people can be disruptors. We believe that wholeheartedly. But when CrossFit lets go of control of all of that stuff, these events can do whatever they want. and they want the big names there to draw in a crowd. So if you leave it up to Torian wants Maddie Sturt there, and they want Gracie Walton there because they're going to bring people into the seats. I can't blame the event organizer for that. And that's all because CrossFit has not taken over and said, these are the rules we're abiding by for all in-person qualifying events.
Yep.
It is very frustrating. On the men's side, we have the same problem where Jay Crouch is already qualified. He's going to compete. Royce Dunn will be there. Peter Ellis. Ben Gerard, Ricky Gerard, already qualified. William Kearney. Guy Majeros is not eligible and is competing. Bailey Martin. And Con Porter.
Brandon Swan.
And that is your list of men.
I think the favorite there is Bailey Martin, based off the last couple of years. And then might see.
I think Peter Ellis, it's his year.
Yeah, he'll
Yeah,
be
that's a
there.
good pick.
And the other two have already qualified. It just makes it he's always been in the hunt. Royce
Exactly.
Dunn could, depending on programming, Royce Dunn could be in the mix.
Royce has some really good gymnastics skills,
Mm-hmm.
and he's strong.
He should have went to one that Mayhem program, though. Just saying.
I think
Just
Luke
seeing if I
DeYoung
could-
could do well.
Yeah. Oh man. Sometimes with my glasses, I only catch things kind of, and my 12-year-old brain sees things it shouldn't see. So, all right. So with there, we have like 3 people that could really mess up the leaderboard who cannot go to the games from here or have already qualified for the games. So, all right. And I do want to kind of address this. Royce Diddy was at Mayhem Classic. I agree with you that he was there, but that field was so deep for 2 people. So deep. Now we're getting into this later end of the season, and it's all jacked up with not a lot of people.
I think they're all going to NorCal. I think the most stacked one from the whole year is Mayhem and NorCal.
Mm-hmm.
Easily.
Well, and I think this is something we can address with a later rundown if we have time. We don't. We're already at time.
It's like the first and last. Everyone picked those ones. And some of these middle ones that were like around the online affiliate semifinals were a little bit less people.
All we have left is Rebel Renegade games, and I'm not going to waste a lot of time by trying to preview that because it's Sarah Sigmund's daughter's last and only shot to make the games. If she makes it, she'll get there. If not, it's done. We're done. Over.
Her biggest competition will be Evie Hollis, I think.
Or that Christine Levitakis.
Christina, what?
That flew out of it way too smooth.
Sounded like you had like phlegm in your throat.
Lulu.
Levitakis. I don't know how you say it. Something like that.
Sure.
So that's really the preview for the Renegade games. And there's that. So the last thing I had on my list was the construction of the season and how can we fix it? And I saw a thing that Hiller put out that I really did agree with a lot. And that is the in-affiliate online semifinal should be the last qualifying event of the year.
The last chance qualifier.
It should be the last chance qualifier and whatever spots are left that haven't already been doled out with the in-person qualifying events. So you have your syndicates, your mayhems, your Torians, your Rebel Renegades, and you hand out however many tickets everybody was. When that's all done, you have one last online in affiliate semifinal, and however many spots are left, that's your last chance to qualify. Whether it's 1 spot or 11 spots or 8 spots or whatever, you roll them all up into that last one. That way, all of the in-person events can get the people they need to get there to draw butts in the seats, do all the things they need to do to make it beneficial for them to put money forward to run this part of the season for CrossFit. And then you have this one big last chance qualifier for everybody for how many spots are left. That seems so simple. What are the chances that CrossFit makes that change next year?
Slim to none.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any other way to fix it?
Don't outsource the programming.
Yeah, I don't know.
Programming.
I
don't like that.
I was never a huge fan of the depth of the strength of field calculations and stuff, but I don't like the way this season is going with just like, here's your 2, here's your 2.
Yeah, 2's not enough for some of these spots.
The people at Mayhem, like, that should have been more than 2 spots.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think you can completely, and Brazil should not have been 2.
No.
But like everything in between, I don't know how you figure all that out. I think it would be easier to figure out if you didn't have the online version already.
Yeah.
Like if TFX had Ariel and Emily and all of the West, Hattie and all the people I can think of from there, Abby, all those people, right? That becomes a much stronger event than what we ended up having.
Yeah.
Do you do like only 2 in like North America, but you can go to either or? Same amount of spots, but you can go to either or, and you can compete and you can compete at both of them.
I'm okay with 3 in North America.
But like, will you give more people? You give more spots.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think there should be like 1 over in Europe, 2 in North America, and that's pretty much it. And
Well, I don't think we thought so many people would not do the season in Europe. If everybody does the season, then Europe probably needs 2.
Yeah, I don't know.
If they have, like, if you grab Clooney's comment, if they have more than 3 events in the open, you could do something like that where like the top 3 from the open get a spot to the games, and it makes the open matter a little bit more. But like, you'll have to have open videos for that
Yep.
to happen. Or you have to actually significantly look at the videos from first place to 30th place, 1 to 4 or 5 of the events. Because then you could do that. But if you don't have video review stuff for every single one of the workouts, then you can't do that. Because when they took from the open in 2019, 2020, like I gave all 5 of my workout videos to them, and like you would assume that they looked at least 2 to 3 of them in great detail.
Well, there would have been a video review process, which
there was.
should be the standard.
Yep.
And we wouldn't even have this issue right now.
Yeah, Kenneth Lapp asked if you did that, Clooney's, Kale Lehman would go to the games. Yeah, you would have to change the video process for sure. Yeah. All right. So, I just saw that thing with Hiller, and then the other thing that struck this into my head is, if you have not seen Seth Jump Ship on Coffee Pods and Wods, I have become the biggest Seth Jump Ship fan in the world, because the level-headedness and the open-mindedness that he has in that interview is everything that I've been trying to say for a long time. And he said it better than I did.
What interview is this one? A recent
He
one?
was on with Coffee Pods and Wods, and they were debriefing the World Fitness Project's Tour Event 1. And he just answered everything so well.
I loved him on the desk. I thought he was
Uh-huh.
extremely knowledgeable, well-spoken, gave great analysis of the field and the workout. He was awesome.
Just a tidbit from that interview. He was asked if he was willing to do it, and he was surprised because he's kind of been out of the competitive CrossFit space in a while. He's just an affiliate owner now with 5 affiliates. But he said he thought about it. And he's like, it was a really cool chance and cool opportunity to do. So he went to do it. And a week later, they sent him a contract with payment. And he didn't know he was getting paid. He thought he was volunteering to do it.
He did a really good job.
That's awesome. Yeah,
And he would have done it as a volunteer and then found out later that he's actually getting paid for it. And I thought that
he
was
earned
really
it.
cool.
He did.
He was really good.
But he actually talks about, here he is working for the WFP on the desk, right? But he owns 5 CrossFit affiliates. And he loves what CrossFit it was, what it stood for, the methodology, the teachings, all of that stuff. And he wants that to survive. But he also knows we're in a new world where it's not, everything isn't rosy anymore. And so I thought I thought he was awesome on there. And he said things in a way that I've been trying to say, and he just did it in a different way. I really enjoyed it. So if you have not seen it, check it out. I watched it on 1.5 speed, got through it pretty quick. It's a little over an hour. But they don't talk so fast in real life that the 1.5 speed affects it too bad. So there's some people I can only go to 1.25. Well, with that, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. It's been awesome. Good discussion. It was good to have Justin Kotler in the chat when we talked about Alex Gazan. We got some firsthand knowledge. I want to thank Leah Nichols for being a member again tonight. Thank you so much for doing that. You can be a member too, for as low as $1.99 a month, $2.99 a month. And it's super easy. But if you don't want to do that, just hit the like button. That's free. Subscribe to the channel. We appreciate each and every one of you. Love that you're here every Sunday night with us. Thank you so much. And we'll see everybody next time on the original Sunday Night CrossFit Talk. Bye, guys.